cornerstone of customer-centric marketing is about delivering customer-centric solutions. By now, you should be familiar that a solution is an answer to the need of the customer. But now let's try to unwrap what is in a need of the customer. Now, certain needs of the customer are things that the customer knows exists and they can clearly articulate those needs to you. But there are certain needs that the customer might not be able to articulate because they themselves might not know that the need exists. Now, one way to try to differentiate the different kind of needs is what was proposed by Kano, K-A-N-O, Kano Model, which says that the customers usually have three different kinds of needs. The first kind of need is a basic need. A basic need is a need that the customer does not tell you, but the customer does not tell you because they expect you to know about it. It's so basic that they don't have to specifically say, hey, this is my need. It's like going to a bank and saying, hey, will you keep my money safe? So essentially, that is what a basic need is. Now, these are needs which we call must fulfill because you absolutely have to fulfill the need, even if the customer does not say it because they expect you to do it. Now, if you fulfill those needs, customers will not necessarily be satisfied because they're going to say, hey, you know what? That is what I'm paying you for. So you absolutely have to fulfill these needs. If you fulfill them, customers will say, well, okay, good. But if you do not fulfill them, the customers are going to be very unhappy. That's why we call it must fulfill. The next need, which is slightly higher up than a basic need, is a performance need. And this is an articulated need. This is a need the customer will tell you. This is what I want you to fulfill. That if you fulfill those needs, customers will be satisfied. If you do not fulfill those needs, customers are going to be unhappy. I also refer to this as the need to fulfill. You have to fulfill these needs. It's a need to fulfill. The last one is an excitement need. An excitement need is an unarticulated need, but it's a latent need because the customer does not even know that the need exists. Fulfilling those needs, customers are going to be delighted. Not fulfilling those needs, customers are going to say, well, I did not even know that the need existed. We call them nice to fulfill because it is important that as an organization that is focused on customer-centric solutions, that you have to fulfill the basic and the performance needs first before we talk about excitement. Another thing you have to be very careful about fulfilling the excitement needs is that what is excitement at one point in time becomes a performance because once the customer knows what those needs are, fulfilling those needs, you go from excitement and you go into performance. So what you should be very careful about is if you fulfill a need that the customer did not even know exist, you run the risk of increasing the expectations of the customer without the customer necessarily wanting to pay extra for it. So that is something you have to be very, very careful about. To summarize again, there are three different kinds of needs. Your job as a customer-centric organization is to focus on fulfilling the basic needs and the performance needs. Now, what if you do that, then we can start talking about focusing on the excitement needs. Now, why is it important for me to understand the needs of the customers? Now, once I understand the needs of the customers, I then can link the needs of the customers to the features of my offering. And my offering could be my product and my service and brand. And I'll come to a brand in just a second. So essentially, if I can link the characteristics of my products and my services to the needs, then that combination of needs of the customers plus the features of my offering becomes the benefits that the customer is looking for. And as I said earlier, what kind of benefits? The customer might be looking for benefits that your product is going to bring to them. But a lot of times these days, a product benefit alone is not going to be enough. It's about also how you make it convenient for the customer. So the service or the value-added services on top of your product also are going to be delivering benefits to the customers. Now, in a B2B situation, your product benefits and your service benefits can increasingly be copied. What cannot be copied is what your brand stands for. Brand is what we refer to as accrued goodwill. It's all the goodwill that you've built up in the market for years and years of making promises to the customers and delivering on your promises so that when the customer decides to work with you, they do not look at you as a risky factor. They look at you, if you have a strong brand name, they look at you as, hey, you are a risk-averse option. I don't have to worry whether you will be able to fulfill my needs or not. And that is a very intangible benefit that you can actually bring to the table that cannot be copied by your customers. So to sum it all up, customer-centric solutions are about understanding the needs of the customers, then understanding what kind of needs they are, prioritize on your basic needs and your performance needs, link those needs to the features of your offering, and then you deliver the benefits. And the benefits could be because of your product, because of your service, and because of your brand.